What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here again today for another season preview. We did Toronto's this morning. I'm all caught up, and now we got Utah's. It's still weird saying Utah, even though he's going into year two now. It's just weird. Usually I only heard Utah when you're talking about the Utah Jazz in the NBA, or Utah's Salt Lake City has a soccer team. So those really the only times you really ever heard of Utah in sports. So it's still weird, but it's a good weird. The GM, Bill Armstrong, was there 4 years with the Coyotes. Now he's been here 2 years with Utah. I should say the Utah Mammoth. I still have the Coyotes magnet on the board because I don't have a Utah magnet. The coach is Andre Turney. He's going into year 5, I should say. 3 years with the Coyotes and now his second year with the Utah Hockey Club, now known as the Utah Mammoth. There we go. I said it. Looking at the first line, this is a team that's been building up for a while. The Coyotes were in a rebuild for a while, and now Utah's getting a team that's really young, that's really ready to go. The question is whether or not they will have that superstar that's really going to take them to the next level. Many say it starts with Clayton Keller. $7.15 million until 2028. Excellent player, 90-point guy, especially playing with the young players like Cooley and Genther. He's going to play with Peterka, and he's played with Schmaltz. He's had a lot of good players around him, but can he be that driving force? Can Cooley take that next step? Cooley's an RFA in 2026, and he will also be getting paid this offseason. So Utah will have to dig into some cap space, which they will have. They have some expiring deals on this team. They've already extended Genther, $7.142 million until 2033. Injuries have been an issue with him lately. Hopefully this season he can stay healthy finally. Then they acquired J.J. Peterka, $7.7 million, gave him his deal until 2030, so that's an exciting piece to add to their lineup. Barrett Hayden, $2.65 million until 2026, where he will also be an RFA. He's also going to be counted on to take that next step into really being a second-line center for this team. That's something that you could really question whether Utah has, a second and or third-line center. You have Nick Schmaltz, $5.85 million until 2026. Truly a veteran on this team compared to a lot of the others. So he's going to have an expiring cap hit. Whether he resigns in Utah, we'll see. Kerfoot, $3 million in 2026. McBain, $4.25 million until 2030, which I thought was pretty pricey for McBain. We'll see if he lives up to that contract and if he can really be that third-line center. If so, that's a bargain of a deal. If not, you're looking at a contract that may want to be moved at some point. You have Lawson Krause, $4.3 million until 2027. And I will give credit where credit's due. Their right side, their 4 right forwards I think are fantastic. Looking at their fourth line, you have O'Brien, $1 million until 2027. Stenlund, $2 million until 2026. And Tanev, $2.5 million until 2028, signed here. So you have some expiring deals. You have Schmaltz, you have Kerfoot, you have Stenlund. Not to mention Hayden and Cooley's deals. They're going to make them RFAs. So maybe Stenlund and Kerfoot, those guys might be guys who might be leaving the team, because there are some even more younger players here ready to take their spots, I believe, coming up, especially by next year. Looking at the depth, you have Carcone. I think he'll be in the lineup more than O'Brien will. O'Brien's kind of that fighter enforcer kind of forward, so Carcone might find his way into that fourth line spot. And if so, I like Carcone a lot, so I think that'd be good. You have Yamamoto here as depth. And then you get into their young players. You have Boot, you have Aginla, Beaudoin, Smith, Denoyer. Denoyer is going to be a crucial part of this team. He's likely going to fit into that second-line center spot. And you eventually want to bump Hayden down, but Denoyer, 4th overall pick in this last year's draft. Utah jumps from 14th to 4th to select him, so you're expecting he's going to be an excellent player for this organization for years to come as well. Looking at their goaltending, you got your big number 1 defenseman, and that's already settled. That's Mikhail Sergachev. $8.5 million until 2031. And then you have John Marino, $4.4 million until 2027. Ian Cole, $2.8 until 2026. And Sean Dursey, $6 million until 2028. Oli Mata, $3.5 million until 2028. And then right off of Stanley Cup, you have Schmidt that comes over, Nate Schmidt, from $3.5 million until 2028. So you have some really strong defense here. Only thing I'd question is a second side left wing defenseman, or not left wing, left side left shot defenseman. But we'll see if that's something they address during the season. If they address looking for a better, more center depth, or if they look for more defensive depth on the left side. Speaking of depth defensively, you have Valimaki, $2 million until 2026. You have Perunovic, you have DeSimone, you have Connaughton, And then on the young side, you have Lamoureux, Simashev, and Lavoie. Again, Lamoureux and Simashev, those are two first-round picks, former first-round picks. Simashev, I believe, was a top 10 pick. I think, did he go 6th, I think, a couple years ago it was? 6th or 10th, those numbers stick out, so I think it's one of those. That was a defenseman I wanted the Hawks to get, but they didn't end up getting him. He didn't fall to them. So Simashev, maybe he takes a spot on this. Lamoureux in a couple years as well. So maybe like you'll phase Mata, and Schmidt's an older defenseman, so you'll phase them out. Another one is Cole, and you bring the younger guys in. Very bright future for the Utah Hockey Club, without question, just looking at the amount of depth this team has and upcoming talent this team has. Looking at the goaltending, you have Vejmelka signed $4.75 million until 2030. And then they signed Vanacek, $1.5 million until 2026, only for the 1 year. You also have Engram signed, $1.95 million until 2026. Very interesting choice of goaltenders. Vanacek off a poor season, kind of two poor seasons. Engram was in the Players Assistance Program, now he's back. You hope he gets a rebound season. And Vejmelka, he's likely, in all likelihood, the starter, but do you look for a better starting goaltender if you're Utah, I wonder? Because Vejmelka, he's a good goaltender. I wouldn't consider him a great goaltender, but that's something, again, they have draft picks, they have assets, they have young players, they have a lot of stuff that they can do to address these issues. Also, they have Jackson Staubert. I really wanted the Hawks to keep on to him, but he ended up in Utah. You also have Thornton, another a goaltender to look for in their depth there. They finished 6th in the division last season, and this is a central division that's tough. You have Winnipeg, you have Dallas, you have Colorado, you have Minnesota, and you have St. Louis, all playoff teams. Utah could very much as well fit in that playoff team. I would honestly say they are going to make the playoffs as a wild card this season. Just looking at the roster, and if not, they're going to be that kind of close that Calgary was with St. Louis this season. Just maybe the same amount of points and lose on a tiebreaker. This team, just all around, they look like a young, upcoming playoff team. Kind of similar to how Chicago looked in 2008, 2009 when they were making their first run at the playoffs into their, what would be, decade of being really good. Speaking of being really good, Arizona/Utah has been a team that hasn't really been really good as of late. So, thankfully for 2020, they made the playoffs. So, this list would have been a lot longer, going up to probably around right here with 2013. 2020, they make the playoffs. They win the qualifying round against Nashville. Then they lose in the first round against Colorado in 5. 2021, 24, 26, and 6. 54 points for 22nd in the league. That's when they commit to the rebuild right there. 2022, 25, 50, and 7 record. 57 points for 31st in the league. And that's the year they get Logan Cooley. 2023, 28, 40, and 14 record. So they improve by 13 points. They go up to 70 points, 27th in the league. 2024, they make another jump, 36, 41, and 5 for 77 points. So over 2 seasons, they've jumped up 20 points. That's still only 27th in the league, however. And then they move to Utah, the Arizona, the Coyotes. That's all put behind them. They don't have to worry about if they're moving because they've already moved. Their stability is there now. 2024-25, they come out and they have 38, 31, and 13 record, 89 points. So another 12-point jump. So going from 57 to 89 points in 3 seasons, remarkable turnaround. 20th in the league this season, and they should only be getting better from here. This team adds Peterka, this team adds Tanev, Schmidt, and Vanacek. Subtractions, they lose Josh Doan. Kesselring goes, which I was a fan of Kesselring in Utah. I'd probably have him on the left side over Cole, but it happens. Bukestad signs in St. Louis. Michelli, surprisingly, is traded to Toronto, but I guess when you add Peterka, you can afford to lose a top 6 winger. And then Bortuzzo is an unrestricted free agent. In all likelihood, he will retire. But I wanted to hear your thoughts. Where do you think the Utah Hockey Club is going to finish this season? I think they have a very good chance of being in the playoffs. Who they leapfrog in the Central is going to be a very important question. Winnipeg likely falls back a little bit. Dallas, I think, stays right where they are. Colorado, I can see falling a little bit. Minnesota, after hearing now Kaprizov rejected 16 by 8, who knows? And St. Louis, good team, could be right on the edge of that again. And then Nashville and Chicago, which you don't expect to be playoff teams. But we'll see. It's going to be a very interesting season. Now we finished the Atlantic Division and we finished the Central Division, I think. Have we? No, still have to do Winnipeg, so we haven't finished the Central Division. We got 4 season previews left. Vancouver, Vegas, Washington, and Winnipeg, all coming to you over the next 4 days. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.